But first up, in a major diplomatic boost for India, Kulbhushan Jadhav, the Indian citizen who is on death row in Pakistan, has been granted interim relief by the International Court of Justice, with the United Nations Court putting a stay on his execution after India's petition. India today has learned that the chief of the International Court of Justice has in fact written to member countries asking them to appoint a quorum of judges to hear the case against Kulbhushan Jadhav. Sources say that the hearing just might start as early as on Monday, with India submitting in the International Court that Pakistan has violated not just the Vienna Convention on several occasions in the past, but has also violated the fundamental legal rights provided to all individuals. Though the International Court's order is not binding on Pakistan, India has managed to mount considerable pressure on Pakistan to secure Kulbhushan Jadhav's release. In fact, just a short while back, India Today also got a chance to speak to senior advocate Harish Salve, who was representing India's case at the International Court of Justice.
Well, you must congratulate the government of India. They have been completely on top of this problem. We had our papers ready in time. We waited for the opportune moment. We moved to court and we got a hearing before the registrar. We persuaded him. He persuaded, in fact, the president of the court was not in Hague. He persuaded him, and this order has been passed. And I think it's a recognition that the court feels we have a serious case. Next week we are on call from Monday onwards. Monday, I think, is a possible date for hearing. Let's see where this goes. Well, I hope they go to proper. I'm sure they will go to lawyers, not to hotheads or media channels. And their lawyers will advise them appropriately about the role of public international law vis-a-vis domestic law. So our petition is on the website of the ICJ. You can download it and see it. We have asked for annulment of his trial. Let's see where it goes, because this is also an evolving jurisprudence. No idea. We are being told that they are being offered a hearing from Monday. We have asked to be there on Monday. We will be there on Monday. And as events unfold, we shall keep you in the loop.
सरकार का कदम से बहुत सराहनीय रहा। सरकार ने जो निर्णय लिया इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस जाने के लिए, हालांकि भारत कम ही जाती है इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस, लेकिन इस मामले में कई बहुत सराहनीय कदम रहा और इससे दबाव बिल्कुल पड़ेगा और मैं इसे भारत के लिए एक जीत मानता हूँ।
Obviously, it's a great victory for India. It's a victory for every citizen of India, and I'm glad that the international community has realized that this was not a trial at all. And the next step should be obviously to ensure that Kulbhushan Jadhav is brought back safe and sound to this country. That should be the first step. And the next step can be to look at similar issues and then raise these. We have other people in Pakistani jails also who are held without trial. So that also we should see. And I guess we must take one step at a time for the human rights review for Government of India. So I have not examined the papers which were moved, but obviously the job has been done very skillfully by Government of India, and full marks to the Government of India and full marks to the Ministry of External Affairs.
In fact, words of appreciation coming in even from Kulbhushan Jadhav's family and friends who have welcomed the International Court of Justice's decision, saying it's a result of the global goodwill that India enjoys. And it's not just the family of Kulbhushan Jadhav, even Sarabjit Singh's family has joined the chorus, saying that the move is indeed in the right direction. Let me go straight across now to Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, I want to understand from you, in the light of repeated, violations of the Vienna Convention, dishonoring the various bilateral treaty obligations between both the nations, and refusal to India's demand for a consular access, how big a victory is this for India and its cause and its efforts to the secure release of Kulbhushan Jadhav?
It's a very big moral victory. What India was saying all along, the International Court of Justice concurs that Vienna Convention wasn't followed. But this is prima facie. The initial order that's been passed by the judge at the International Court of Justice is only to ensure that Pakistan does not carry out the execution of Indian businessman Kulbhushan Jadhav, who was abducted in Iran and then illegally taken into Pakistan and then sentenced to death. So that's step one. A very important moral victory, but it's just one battle. There's a war ahead to ensure what Harish Salve told you and I just a short while back, Avantika, that the aim is twofold. One, to ensure that that execution is not carried out, and two, that the trial that took place in Pakistan, that so-called military court-martial, general court-martial in Pakistan, that is annulled and the Indian citizen is brought back to India. So that's the aim, and that is where the big war, the diplomatic and legal war, lies ahead.
And this clearly, has helped India's case internationally, hasn't it, Gaurav? Tell me something. This may be a huge relief for India, but if suppose Pakistan defies it, because Harish Salve also saying that this missive from the International Court of Justice is binding on Pakistan, isn't it?
It is, and that is what Harish Salve, one of India's best-known legal minds, has said. He said that this verdict, whatever is the verdict of the International Court of Justice, is binding on countries that follow, because both India and Pakistan have signed the Vienna Convention, they've signed the additional protocols, and whatever order is passed by the International Court of Justice is binding on both countries. So now India has taken up the case, saying that this Indian businessman in Iran was abducted from Iran, taken to Pakistan. We don't know what is the evidence against him. We were not given consular access, which is a violation of the Vienna Convention. All of this Pakistan will need to respond to. Now, Harish Salve told India today that, the quorum, the judges have been asked to assemble on the 15th of May. So he's hoping the trial will begin on the 15th of May, hoping that Pakistan will respond by 15th of May. But since this is also emerging jurisprudence, as he said, as Harish Salve said, we'll have to wait and see what Pakistan's response is. Whether Pakistan submits immediately, whether Pakistan seeks more time in this case, we still have to wait and watch.
Speaking of Iran, Gaurav, how important is Iran's demand for consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav that has been denied to India in the past, and that comes after the recent warning that was issued from Iran to Pakistan on cross-border military terror attacks?
That's a very pertinent point that you've raised there. Now Pakistan is under diplomatic pressure from two countries. India is seeking diplomatic access 16 times. Iran now seeks consular access because Kulbhushan Jadhav was an Indian businessman working in Iran. With proper papers, proper documentation, he was in Iran, and the then German ambassador to Pakistan said, according to German intelligence, or according to inputs that the German ambassador had, Kulbhushan Jadhav was abducted. He was kidnapped by the Taliban and sold to Pakistan's ISI. All of this information India will put at the International Court of Justice. The limited point there is Vienna Convention was not followed. India was denied consular access on all these grounds. Then it is for the judges at the International Court of Justice at The Hague to pass their order, which will be binding on Pakistan. It also remains to be seen what is Pakistan's defense, how much time does Pakistan seek in this case.
But Gaurav, speaking of the subject, as far as India and Pakistan relations are concerned, you have enough experience and have reported on this. You spoke to several experts today in the morning. There is fear of, the road being very tough ahead for India, given Pakistan's unpredictability in the past.
Pakistan is a country that hanged its own prime minister. Pakistan's military is all-powerful. Pakistan's military is learned to have taken certain steps which were tactically brilliant but strategically disastrous for Pakistan. Whether it's hanging their own prime minister, whether it's assassination of Benazir Bhutto, where the army was in the eye of a storm, whether it's the Kargil incursion, whether it's 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, or now where Pakistan army is in the eye of a storm, for Afghanistan is attacking Pakistan at the border along the Durand line for Pakistan spreading terror in Afghanistan. Iran has threatened to invade Pakistan and hit out at the terror factories, at the terror safe haven, after Pakistan-based terrorists killed 10 Iranian border guards just last week. And India and Pakistan, we all know how bad the situation is along the line of control, with Pakistan Army having carried out the mutilation of 2 Indian soldiers at the LC just last week. So Pakistan that way is hemmed in, but Pakistan is known to have taken very irrational steps in the past. In this case, there are international ramifications of taking action against Kulbhushan Jadhav at a time that the International Court of Justice has already passed a stay order. So it remains to be seen, you know, and India's very subtle, you know, submission that there are Pakistanis in Indian jail on charges of espionage who've been given due consular access, or the Indus Water Treaty where India could harness the water completely. So Pakistan will have to think long term this time.
Indeed. Gaurav, thank you so much for joining us. We'll keep coming back to you for further reactions. But the stay that has been given out by the International Court's order has not come as a huge relief just for India, but has been welcomed across people in the country. We have a few reactions coming in from the very popular, the very famous Dabbawalas in Mumbai. This is what they had to say.
भारत सरकार ने सही निर्णय लिया, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय दबाव पाकिस्तान पे आया और हेग के अंतर्राष्ट्रीय न्यायालय ने भी ये बात मान ली और कुलभूषण जाधव की फांसी को सजा को स्थगिति दी है। अभी भारत ने प्रयास करना चाहिए और कुलभूषण जाधव को सही सलामत भारत में जिंदा वापस लाना चाहिए।
दही बांटने का प्रमुख कारण जो है अपना कुलभूषण जाधव, इनको पाकिस्तान ने गिरफ्तारी के झूठे इल्जाम में जो अटक किया था और उनको फांसी की सज़ा सुनाई थी, वो बिल्कुल गलत था। उनके लिए हमने रिक्वेस्ट किया था भारत सरकार से कि उनको सही सलामत जिंदा वापस लेके आओ, और सरकार ने वो अपना काम किया। उनका फांसी की जो सज़ा है वो स्थगित किया है, माफ़ किया है, और ये खुशी में हम डब्बा वाले सबको मिठाई बांट रहे हैं।